Hello, and welcome to a little video about the Unit 3 quiz review. Let's get started. In number 1, what we're going to do for each graph is write a linear function in slope-intercept form. Remember, in our slope-intercept form, m stands for our average rate of change, which is our slope, and b is the y-intercept. Okay, let's start with the top left. Of course, the starts with f of x equals. Now let's find our slope. In order to do that, we're going to go from left to right, and we're going to count either up or down, and then to the right. Let's go. Okay, so it looks like I'm going up 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1. X goes next, and then I need to identify my y-intercept. My y-intercept is where my diagonal line crosses the y-axis, so it's right there at -5. Let's try this one. Now I know I have 3 points on there, but you only need to use 2 to find the slope. I'm going to use this one and this one to find the slope. Why? Just because I feel like it. All right, let's count. I'm going down 2, so I'm going to make a -2. And I'm going to the right 1, 2, 3. 3. X goes next. And I chose these 2 points not only because I feel like it, but we can also see the y-intercept easier. It's +5. Oh wow, there's a lot here too. Well, again, I'm going to leave the y-intercept, which is right here, out of it, just so I can easily count the slope. So I'm going to use these 2 points. All right, f of x equals. It looks like I'm going up 1, 2, 3. You know what? I missed a good point on here, and I think I printed it with it because I'm looking at my printed version. Actually, no, I didn't miss a point. JK. Anyways, let's count. I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 2. Ooh, it looks like I can reduce this. Okay. Well, my y-intercept is +3. And what can you reduce this fraction to? 2/1. So if you used 2 other points, you could have gotten 2/1. 4/2 is also correct, but you want to make sure you can reduce when possible. Last one here. F of x equals. I don't give you much of a choice, so let's use the 2 points. I go down 1, 2, so -2 to the right once. And then my y-intercept is right here, which is +3. Fantastic. Onwards we go. In number 2, we have 4 questions like it in number 2, and we are going to use the tables to answer some questions. Let's start with this left one. Determine the average rate of change. Remember, our slope formula, our average rate of change formula is, I'm going to write it down here. Whoa. I'm going to write it next to the problem just so we have it. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, let's label our our table. My goodness. This is x1. This is y1. x2, y2. All right. Now that we have that all labeled, we can find the average rate of change in letter A. Okay. y2 is 3 minus y1, which is 0. x2 is 1 minus x1, which is 0. So we end up with 3/1, which you can also simplify to 3. Next, we're going to write the function using the slope and the y-intercept. Before we do that, we need to look at the table and decide where is our y-intercept. Our y-intercept exists when x is 0. So it looks like, whoops, Didn't mean to select all that. It looks like 0 is our y-intercept. So f of x equals 3x plus 0. The 3, in case you're wondering, came from m. In letter C, I like to determine the function after a constant rate of 8. What that means is I'm going to take 8 and plug it into x. We are only allowed to plug numbers into letters. 3 times 8 plus 0 is 24. Let's try that again on this one. I'm not going to rewrite my slope formula since there it is. Let's label x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, let's do it. y2 is 15 minus y1, that's 19. x2 is negative 2 minus x1, which is negative 4. Okay, we get negative 4 on top, positive 2 on the bottom, which reduces to negative 2. Remember, we have our fancy calculators. If you're not sure if a fraction reduces, put it into your calculator. Once you click enter, it will reduce it for you or give you back that same fraction being like, it's already reduced. Okay, so we have identified the slope. Fantastic. Now we need to identify the y-intercept. The y-intercept happens when x is 0. Can you see where x is 0 here? Yeah, right there at 11. Beautiful. So f of x equals negative 2x plus 11. In letter C, let's determine the value of the function at a constant rate of 5, which means I'm going to take 5 and plug it into x. Since we can only replace letters with numbers. All right, that goes into your calculator, and you get an answer of 1. Okay, beautiful. Let's do this twice more. No, I'm just trying to scroll. There we go. No. Stop selecting everything. Be nice. Thank you, OneNote. So nice. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here as what we've been doing. Let's do the slope formula. Now, hopefully you have it written down somewhere. You know where to look. So here we go. Let's label x1, y1, x2, y2. Also, I hope you memorize this one. It's a very useful formula. So I would like you to memorize it if you can. Okay, here we go. y2 is negative 3 minus y1, which is negative 8. x2 is 3 minus x1, which is 0. All right. I get 5 over 3. If you put that into your calculator, it does not reduce. So it stays 5 over 3. Before we write the function, we found the slope. Let's identify the y-intercept. Find on your table where x is 0. Do you see it? Fantastic. Our y-intercept is negative 8. So here goes our function. F of x equals 5 over 3x plus 11. Now I know the fractions can look a little scary, but don't worry about it, because you're going to have a calculator for this next part, where we're going to take 15 and plug it into x. Remember, we cannot replace numbers, only letters. If you don't remember how to put a fraction into your calculator, a reminder, you click your control button and then the division symbol. When I put this into my calculator, I get an answer of 17. Okay, let's try it one more time. Let's label things. You know what? For the sake of showing you that you can choose any 2 points, I'm gonna choose this as x1, y1, and then just for funsies, x2, y2. It doesn't matter which ones you choose. We'll get the same slope. Let's find our slope. Beep-a-dee-beam, beep-a-dee-beam. Okay. Y2 is negative 11 minus y1, which is 3. Cool. On the bottom, x2 is 1 minus x1, which is negative 1. Okay. Negative 11 minus 3 is negative 14. 1 minus negative 1 is 2. Put that into your calculator, and you'll see that it reduces to negative 7. We found our slope. Take a look at your table. What is your y-intercept? Find where x is 0. You see it? Negative 4. Fantastic. Letter C, last time we're going to do this for this review, we're going to plug in 6 because we want to find the value of the function after a constant rate of 6. Remember, we can only replace letters. We cannot replace numbers. You put this into your calculator and you get negative 46. All right, beautiful. Let's do 2 word problems and we'll call it a day. How about that? Number 3. A cactus is currently 4 inches tall and grows 3 inches per year. I'd like to write the situation in function notation. Well, function notation is f of x equals mx plus b, where m is our average rate of change. In number 3, what is the change happening to the cactus? The change that's happening is it's growing 3 inches. And then plus our y-intercept, our b. B is our starting point. Currently 4 inches. Another word for starting is beginning. That's a good way to memorize it. Ms. Procott told me that. B for beginning, which is starting. Letter B in number 3 asks us, how tall will the cactus be in 12 years? Well, I can only plug in numbers into letters, so let's plug 12 into x. This is a word problem, so let's not forget units. 3 times 12 plus 4 is 40 inches. Let's do the same thing for number 4. A new highway is currently 22 miles long. The construction crew adds 3 miles to the highway per year. Let's write the situation in function notation. First, I need to identify the change. What change is happening? That's right, we're adding 3 miles to it. That's the change. And then what is the beginning of our highway? How large is it now? 22 miles. Beautiful. Let's find out how long will the highway be when it's done with construction after 10 years. As you know, it's always construction season in Chicago. So, 10 years does not sound unreasonable, right? Okay, let's plug 10 into X because we can only plug numbers into letters. All right, this is a work problem, so we'll have to include our units. After it's done, this highway will be 52 miles long. Fantastic. That's essentially the quiz. Obviously, it's going to be shorter, or maybe not as obvious, but it will be. Don't worry about it. If you have any questions while you're reviewing, please feel free to ask me or whoever else is helping you out with math. Otherwise, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of whatever day it is for you. Bye!